Are we recording now?
It says you're recording.
Yes. It only took me about 20 minutes. Oh, hello, YouTube crowd. I didn't see you come in.
Oh, well,
I'm Blackendrose, a chimp in a suit, and here is my trainer, Dakota.
I wouldn't. That would require me to actually have trained you, doesn't it?
This is the... Well, how would you describe yourself? I would say lead gameplay recorder.
That is my official title, but I think it's more like Wrangler.
Considering what you have to deal with, yeah, that's probably about right.
Considering that it's kind of more of like, just do your own thing, but kind of steer it over in this direction, and I won't yell at you.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yes, this is my boss, Dakota.
Again, hello.
Yes. Yes, this is another one of those. I've got one of the tats team members joining me for this little number, and this one is Penumbra Overture. Which,
Why is it called overture? Is there a lot of music involved?
No. I believe...
I feel lied to.
I don't know if this is like one of the later ones or one of the earlier ones. It's part of the Penumbra series of games, as well in story as well as series.
I'm completely ignorant of this series. I never heard of it until I was on the tats team, so I was like, okay.
Yeah, I was mildly aware of it, but that was about it. Anyway, let me start the video. Yes, this was the first video that I did for the team that went live, because this was for the... I think it was...
It would have been hardest bosses if it was the first one to go live.
Well, no, because remember the one before that, the scary levels?
Oh, that was before hardest bosses, wasn't it? Yes. Because you were one of our first newer hires that we went and got.
There we go. I've just realised that the YouTube crowd couldn't hear the audio of the video there, but now they can. But yes, this was the first one that I did for the team that went live, because I think the original video was scrapped.
There's been a lot of videos where, because of course we have free range on what we record, but at the same time though, it could be years before that video, that clip sees the light of day, and times change, re-releases happen, better technology happens, and so half the time we have to scrap it anyway.
Yeah, I think at the time I was still very much a blushing, red-faced, fresh-faced newcomer. I was like, I want to do stuff, and then this one came up, saying that we need a new video for it. I was like, yes, I'll jump into this one.
That initial eagerness of, I will record all the videos, all 25,000 of them in this week.
Well, when I started, I mean, I did something like 5 videos in a week, and I was like, yeah, yay, I've done stuff, except I'm burning myself out.
Right. Without getting, I think, because I do report cards on all the recorders, because we're supposed to, as leads, kind of like make sure you're doing what you're supposed to, and the game recorders is probably the most involved. And I remember on one of your report cards, I was like, I can't give you extra points for meeting your requirements, but thank you.
I think you put that on the most recent one as well.
Probably.
But, I mean, I got that through, and I was sort of thinking, like, oh god, I'm just, like, mediocre or something, because this is all, like, new stuff. I was like, no, I've come back with high scores. What on earth is going on?
I'm I'm a weird lead. I'm very lenient, but I'm also very specific. Strict. I don't want to say strict.
Well, the thing is, you know what you want, and that I think that's important.
It was a wild west before the departments were really like visualized how they are. Like we had an HR department, we had like specifically narrators, specifically voiceovers. It was interesting. Before I was like, hey, we need to restructure some stuff.
They just show up and it's like, hey, we need to sort this out.
I think there was like, because of course we have our fan server, which is public, and then we have the crew server where we did talk. And I think there was like 20 something roles that were actual roles for people in the team, and I was like, this is not okay.
Blimey, no wonder it needed changing. If people are wondering why I keep stammering, I keep hearing my voice through my headphones, and it's really throwing my brain off.
No, I totally understand that, because when I'm have to edit my friend's footage, I can't have him talk anywhere around me, and I can't talk to anyone else because my brain doesn't know what's game and what's not, even though my memory knows the difference.
Well, I've just looked at the timer on this. 1 hour, 52 seconds. 52 minutes even. I was like, oh god, I've got to hear my voice for this.
Oh, drugs? Did you take drugs? The screen changed on your game.
This is a feature of this game. When you go into hiding, it sort of does this blue screen effect to indicate that you're hidden.
Okay, I just saw the warp, and like anytime your vision warps in a game, you've taken like LSD or something.
No, this isn't. Well, I mean, I think you do take pills in this, but no.
I should talk to Tats about that. Like, make that a list. Just scenarios where you have to take drugs and how it messes with your game.
I'm sure I can think of a few that do that.
I'm sure it's in her massive treasure trove. It's very rare, but I'll be like, here's a list, and she's like, but I already have this. Why are you talking about it?
Yeah, I've looked at the listings, and just like some of the ones we come across. I mean, I was doing like some GoldenEye stuff recently, and there was even a couple on there that didn't exist on our listing service.
Right, yes, because I was trying to check them off, and I was like, I can't find these. Why did you record them?
Yes. Oh, look, doggy! Evil doggy with
looks
bright eyes.
I understand this is a much older game, but it looks like a pig because of how its snout is, I guess, because it kind of has to flatten off. What is he?
Look at that
okay?
AI.
Is he okay?
No, I don't think so. It also can't damage me here. This is me, because I've never played this game before I did this one. So this is me working out how to play it. Yeah,
that's what being on the Tats team has given me an excuse to play games when I hadn't before, which is nice.
Yeah, that's what's happened to me. I mean, that's what this was. Like, I had this game in my Steam listings, but I'd never played it.
And I played Soma for the first time for one of our listings. Oh, you didn't kill it. Okay, I was like, his eyes are still glowing.
Oh, doggy ran away.
I played Soma for the first time, but because of what I was recording, I think it was scary games, like in general, just get the game being scary.
Yeah.
So I had to play the entire game without the music on, and it's one that just destroys the atmosphere for Soma. But it made it so I didn't hear like hi.
Doggy back.
But it made it so you didn't hear like the musical stings of hey, there's a bad guy nearby. So I just kept walking into them, not realizing they were enemies. At least this is very... Oh!
Yes, doggy destroyed my barrel.
At least this is obvious. Hey, this is blatantly trying to attack you.
Oh, down he goes.
I'm assuming he's dead. I want to know what makes his eyes still glow.
Yeah, well, let's not forget the age of this game.
Yes, of course.
Like their idea of something scary was light up eyes. This is me realising that it's a good idea I had a guide.
To-do list. That's not a to-do list. That's a I found this.
Somehow I don't think he knows what a to-do list is. Although considering how I was using that hammer, he probably has some kind of mental issue.
I mean, if it's self-defense, it's self-defense.
I'm thinking more along the lines of just how I was swinging it around wildly.
I think I was doing that when I was playing Resident Evil 7. I was just taking an axe and just hitting everything, seeing what was destructible, but at the same time, you just look like an idiot while you're doing it.
Yes. How to get your hand chainsawed off.
Yes. 101.
That was a really good moment in gaming, I like to think. Just, you've got your hand jabbed into the wall with a screwdriver, and then she's just approaching you slowly with a chainsaw and literally just slices it off.
Right, you think most games will give you some type of out, and it doesn't at all, so you're left going, okay, what am I gonna do? This is the very beginning of the game. What am I doing? Am I gonna just go around with one hand the entire time? And it's so amusing seeing how he interacts with things at that point. Just like how he has to compensate, like reloading a gun or opening doors with one hand. And technically he's holding his other hand somewhere.
It is a nice touch, especially with the reloading of the gun, because it's much slower, because obviously you only have one hand.
The one hand.
Did you see the extra scene in it where you can have your leg cut off?
So I had to replay it recently for a listing, and I accidentally did that twice. And so I'm sure that'll end up being footage at some point somewhere. And then I didn't realize, I tried healing myself without getting my leg, and my friend had to yell at me going, no, you're supposed to go get your leg to reattach it like you did with your arm. And I was like, but this stuff's like magical juice. It should just grow back, right?
Yes, the magic juice.
I don't know what's in it, but it heals getting like super cutted.
Well, I mean, your foot gets amputated, and you just pour that stuff on, and it just reattaches.
And works. And you don't die at the end of the game, allegedly.
I mean, it's just like, where are the doctors researching this? Like, we need doctors researching this stuff that can reattach body parts.
I have a gross quick story. I had a boss one time. I don't remember exactly what happened, but he had land, and I think he was like using a lawnmower or something.
Oh dear.
And something jammed, and so I believe he turned it off, but something malfunctioned in the lawnmower or something, and of course he lost a finger, but he didn't find his finger until a few days later. So they couldn't reattach it.
Were they able to reattach it?
After so many days, you can't. I think he found it 2 days later, and by then it was too late. It had been out in the elements, and etc., etc.
It probably rotted too much.
So he makes, he would make jokes of like high 4 instead of high 5.
Does he technically have a middle finger now? Because if you have 4 fingers, you don't have a middle one.
I guess technically no, you wouldn't.
I don't know why I'm thinking so much about that.
But it's things like you don't. Again, with losing an arm and a leg, you don't think of these things until it happens, and then it just causes you to think. Are you hiding in front of a map?
Maybe. Yeah, this is me trying to work out the map. Like, the thing that got me the most with this game, and it comes up a bit later, is the fact that it has spiders in it.
I haven't noticed any yet, so I'm assuming those are coming up.
They are a bit later in the game, but I didn't know when in the game, and I have a rather nasty fear of spiders.
I didn't know. It was really interesting when I was playing Bloodborne, because I didn't. You kind of get used to the same old things, and then all of a sudden, gigantic spiders just show up out of nowhere, and you're like,
Yeah.
"What's going on? This is not part of your guys' regular like bestiality thing going on."
Then suddenly big ass spiders.
And then rooms of big ass spiders for no reason. Yes.
Yes, that was one of those moments that sort of, like, I was diving through, killing lots of things. Like, yeah, I can blaze my way through this. Walk into that area and big ass spiders on the walls. Like, I'm out of here.
Is this a crude going spiders equals bad? Please burn spiders.
Probably.
Is that what I'm like? That's what I'm gathering from that chest.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Why do you need to know the exact colors of the paint?
The exact colours of the paint.
It was the paint was like atomic white or Arctic white and like something red, and I was like, just say white and just say red. Why do you need to know the exact color of what you have?
Maybe
Also,
maybe the protagonist is an artist. Maybe the
Did
protagonist
you know
is cyber.
that? I keep interrupting you.
No, go for it.
Did you know that? I don't remember how it works, but like certain people, maybe it's all females or something, can see like more shades of red than men can.
Really?
Yeah, there was this great like red sheet where it was like started with dark red and went light red, and I did a test with it with Regal without telling him. I was like, "How many rows of red do you see?" He was like, "I see 4." I saw like 30.
That is amazing.
Because I didn't think it was a thing, but that's why I didn't tell him anything. I was like, "Hey, when you look at this, how much red do you see?"
I had no idea that was a thing.
Neither did I, but it's just kind of interesting, and it just makes you wonder. I think there's also an artist lady that sees in like weird, I wouldn't say infrared, but some weird color spectrum. So she paints in that weird color spectrum. I don't know her name though off the top of my head.
Throw the barrel at the door.
There was a door similar to that in Resident Evil, and I just completely missed it. I mean, I don't blame you. I would do the same thing in reality. I would try and go over it if I couldn't open it.
Yeah. Again, this was me. Like this. I mean, for people who are watching this and thinking, "My God, he's an idiot," bear in mind this was one of my earlier tats videos.
Also, back in the day of video games, there wasn't always tutorials in-game. You actually had to read the manual, so... And I understand you said this was on Steam, so
I miss those days.
they probably had an electronic manual, but yeah, like back in the day, there was an in-game tutorial. You had to actually read the physical book that came with your game to figure out how to play it.
Well, the ultimate problem I had with this wasn't the controls, it was how maze-like and cryptic the areas were.
Yeah, even the map was like, everything's in a circle, good luck.
Do not
And then
adjust
spiders
your
out from
recording. Do not adjust your recording, viewers. The reason this is all stalled at the moment is because I'm looking at the guide in the background. And for some bizarre reason, OBS... well, not OBS, but the game stops playing when it's not the centre focus. You'll be seeing that a lot. I think at this point I've realised there's a key somewhere that I missed, as I seem to be making a direct beeline to it. But it is interesting that you mentioned manuals, because that's something I miss from games these days.
I remember, like, I loved it when they were unique. I
had,
think
like,
my last
story in
one
them.
that I really liked was, I think, Jack and Daxter, the first one, the precursor curse or whatever it was a map. Like, it unfolded to be this gigantic map of the world, but it's still, like, on one side had the controls and stuff. And on the other side it was the map, and I was like, this is amazing! And now, of course, because everything's digital, they just expect you to download it. I was like, this takes out, I understand it saves you money, but it takes out all the imaginative fun out of everything of buying the physical copy.
Oh, there's a spider.
You saw a thing about how spiders were bad. Oh, did you get bit?
I don't know why it does that. Like, I don't know if it's the game saving, or if it's like the amnesia thing where you make progress and it just goes, oh, blue screen. I mean, this was... I think Penumbra was the same team that made Amnesia.
I'm not sure off the top of my head, and I haven't played Amnesia. Oh, hello, Amnesia either. Oh, it's a dead puppy.
It's a mummified puppy.
I saw the spider web, but I wasn't. I
Yeah.
just assumed that back in these days, they just kept the same model for everything.
To a degree, yes.
Oh, you have to carry a ladder through this? This sounds
Yes.
atrocious.
Well, I mean, spoiler warning, there are no spiders in this cave. There's steam.
Except for that one.
Yeah, I think the idea is it's supposed to, like, scare you. But that's it. Apparently, painkillers are a good cure for steam burns.
I mean, if you can't feel it, it's not an issue at that time.
Somehow I don't think it works that way.
What video games teach me. You can fix everything with drugs.
Video games teach that you can fix massive blunt force trauma with a turkey.
Yes.
That's Streets of Rage.
Or in the case of Resident Evil, you can reattach limbs with
Goop juice.
aloe vera or something.
I prefer to call it goop juice.
Goop juice? Okay.
Yeah. I don't know why. Maybe it's just the mental image of someone of it's just someone's like semen sample or something.
Ew.
Don't worry, this can't get monetized.
The hospital grey. Why do we need to care?
Is there such a thing as hospital grey?
I imagine there is. When I was part of a different YouTube team, we painted a room in my house offline. Like, the color was called offline, and it was like a weird bluish gray.
There's a colour called offline?
Yes.
Oh, that's where my brain is. All I've got is an IOU in my head. Uh-oh. I thought I'd lock the ladder in place there.
That wouldn't surprise me. Like, soft locking older games was such an issue way back when.
Oh god, yeah. Like, if you go back to like the really old days of gaming. Oh, someone's having a bad day up there.
It was so bad, you dropped everything.
Yes, I dropped the ladder and I dropped the flare.
And you didn't even bother to go back for it.
Ah, it can stay there. I've got plenty more. It was quite interesting to think, though. I think this must have come... Actually, I think this one must have come first because Black Plague. It did a lot of references to the creatures in this, but they never showed up in it.
Or maybe it was a nice throwback. You don't know.
I don't know, really. Maybe. Because in Black Plague, they do a few, like... what's the term? Hallucination sequences, where they show you the spiders and the doggies, and there's the big worm. Oh, spoiler warning. Big worm.
I was gonna say, you were definitely doing this for footage and not for fun. Because you're like, I don't need to read any of this lore.
Oh yeah, yeah, I'm just sort of trying to blaze through it to get to the good stuff. Oh,
Like
there's
spiders.
a spider. Yes, I'll just poke it. Although I think I will forever remember my first reaction when Tats got me into EDF, and that has the big ass insects in it.
Yeah, I always... But you can tell when she has some free time, because she plays that, like, non-stop during that time frame.
Yeah, she certainly does enjoy. I mean, I've played it with her a couple of times, but yeah, the giant spiders in that, they still make me cringe.
I don't know if I'd want to grab beef jerky from a place like this.
Yeah, I'm concerned of whether it's actually beef. Like, it could be human jerky, which sounds very wrong for all the wrong reasons.
There's games that make you do that.
Yes, Fallout is one of them.
Didn't know that, but it also doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, you can get the cannibalism perk, which allows you to eat human corpses.
Huh. The only Bethesda game I've ever played, I think, was Skyrim. Because Fallout Shelter doesn't count.
Yeah, I suppose so. Like, Fallout Shelter was a mobile game. I played that for a little bit, to be honest. Couldn't get into it, though. It was one of those do stuff, then wait for things to build up and do more stuff.
With my personal busy schedule, I love idle games like that, but then you'll hit a point of like, okay, there's no more fun in this next one.
Yeah.
And I hit that after like a month of playing Fallout Shelter.
Yeah, I played a few games that were like that. I think I played like Farmville.
What are you doing?
I'm trying to block the door.
That... If someone's pissed off enough, that... Oh my god.
Here, take a rock. Oh.
Oh!
Yeah. What happened there was... Down he goes again.
If it works. Oh.
I don't think it's actually like damaging it. I think it's just stunning it.
Is it like a zombie dog?
I don't know. I mean, it certainly looks like rotten.
They could also, if the spiders are like...
It's just sitting there behind the... Oh, hello.
Oh. Or it could be, because I think it's brown... I don't know if it's recluse or lucluse. I'm pretty sure it's recluse. Spiders, when they bite you, it literally eats just organic material. And it's kind of what that looks like to me, too.
I do
Granted,
know...
I don't think he would be that energetic if that was the case.
I think it's a reference to the virus that's hinted at in Black Plague. Oh, down he goes. Give it a whack for good measure. But yes, what you was saying regarding spiders there, it was something that I learnt as well, that when they bite into, like, insects, they inject a venom that basically turns their insides into mush.
Right,
And then
yeah.
they just sort of suck it out.
Sadly, people are all mush, so that kind of doesn't bode well for us.
Well, if you consider the relative size of a spider to a human, like, the venom is not potent enough to really do any harm.
It's not supposed to, but of course there are those particularly venomous spiders.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
very few and far between, but I know for a while I was terrified of buying bananas because because I was one of those kids who was like, oh no, there's something in the news about
Yeah.
spiders in Brazil bananas and they're super poisonous and will kill you. And I'm like, because I was a weird kid that would read the news and bananas were like my favorite thing. And I was like, I can't have bananas ever again.
I used to eat bananas when I was younger. I can't eat them now, though. They just make me gag. I don't know why. Maybe I'm just like deep throating them or something. I'm glad that got a laugh there.
I mean, I can't think of something. I mean, but if that's where your thought process is, if I may have done that, I don't want to question how you eat your food, sir. But yeah, I could see that being a problem.
Now, I think the issue I have with bananas is the texture and the juices that are in it. It makes me gag.
Interesting.
And once again, it just makes it sound like I'm deep throating it.
Have you heard of the Lord and Savior dehydrator? It made banana chips or pop banana chips where there's like no juice in it.
I did not know that.
I make them at home.
You make them?
Sometimes. Now that I'm in the desert, it's much faster for me to dehydrate fruit. Raisins takes me about 2 days because there's just so much in them. But I found that green raisins are my favorite. And it's basically just having gigantic, sour Skittle raisins.
I'm learning things. I hope the rest of the YouTube audience is learning things.
I am a wealth of weird random knowledge.
Oh, you're going to be a
But-
perfect fit for this then.
Yay. Because, yeah, that was something I used to do when I was younger. My mom had a dehydrator that because she just didn't, that wasn't her thing. She bought it for, I guess, to make jerky, and then just kind of decided that wasn't her thing anymore. So I was using it for fruits, and found out that I absolutely loved snacking on banana chips, but the downside is I love banana chips so much that I'll have an entire bundle in one sitting, and if you think about it, that's like 9 bananas, and that's not good for you.
Wait. Does that mean that you're basically the Donkey Kong of the team?
I don't know. We'll find. You'll just have to start doing that as your opening question. How many bananas do you eat in one sitting? Okay, carrying on with the rest of this conversation.
How many bananas are sitting on the wall? That's exactly the reaction it deserved.
But it's just fun being able to like cook different stuff because like I can, if I want to make it more desserty, I'll like sprinkle a little bit of cinnamon on them. I've made dehydrated apples that way before too.
I used to enjoy cooking when I was younger, although I did food technology when I was younger, so I was doing cooking a lot. My forte was cakes. I was very good at that.
I can read the box good.
If I still had my recipes, I could probably make them again. My specialty cake was the Victorian sandwich cake, which was just like 2 layers of sponge and a filling.
If I didn't understand cakes, because I used to be an intern for a culinary class, So all I got to do was sit there and listen and grade papers. So I didn't actually get to actually do anything myself. But it just sounds like you're squishing two sponges together and putting something in the middle. And I'm like, I understand what sponge cake is, but out of context, it's just really weird sounding.
It sounds like something that belongs in SpongeBob.
But wouldn't that be cannibalism at that point?
I'm not saying that SpongeBob eats a sponge.
But it's sea life eating other sea life.
Yes, sharks do that.
But is there any sharks in Bikini Bottom? Like, genuine question. I don't watch the show, so I don't know.
I think so. If you squint your eyes a bit.
Is your dude just, like, terrified and will not go in because he thinks your spider is coming out of that hole? Or will have spiders out of that hole?
This is me terrified.
Oh.
Like, I don't know if you can hear it clearly, but every now and then you can hear a chittering in this area. And again, like, I've never played this before, but because Clown Prince of Crime had a script for this, I knew what enemies were in it, which was the dogs, the spiders, and the giant worm. So I was playing through this thinking, oh god, when are the spiders going to get here?
Right. It doesn't help that you see the spider webs all over the place. Saw the one on the table. Hello? Oh, it's electric? Okay.
It's electrified. We have a physics puzzle. Although I'm wondering how long it takes me to work out that it's a physics puzzle.
So, I guess I think it was Azul, or maybe it was Ray who saw me playing God of War. Because I've been trying to play the God of War series to get to the newest game. And I really, really enjoy their puzzles. But I never realized just how bad I am at them until I figure it out. So, apparently, I spent 20 minutes, like, doing every other thing but smashing the door I was trying to get through. But that's all it was. I had to just rage and hit the door and it broke. And I was like, oh. Here I was trying to be all super clever about it, trying to find some other way to open it, and I just had to break it. Great.
I think what that speaks to, though, is the experience you've had from other games that would normally do that. Where you'd have a closed door and it's like, oh, I need to do like a special trick or get a special ability to open this door. Not God of War.
Well, God of War, it's either some extremely intricate puzzle, or it wants you to rage and get upset at it to pursue the game further. And it's just kind of like, okay, is this be smart, or is this be absolutely aggressive and end this game?
Well, that was God of War through and through. I mean, I never actually sat down and played the God of War games. I'm just aware of them, as well as like watch some footage of them. I mean, I know,
right.
I know God of War 4 is basically God of War Dad Simulator.
Yes, and I cannot wait to play it. But yeah, if I never had played them, I would have never thought it was a puzzle game. I just would have thought it was a hack and slash.
It's kind of like a Devil May Cry kind of affair.
Right, and I think actually, I don't know what came first, but I'm sure one of is more of a knockoff than the other.
I'm pretty sure Devil May Cry came first.
I'm pretty sure of that too.
Because I remember playing it on the PS2 way back when, before God of War existed. At least I think I did.
But I think so too, since if I remember correctly, Devil May Cry was supposed to be a Resident Evil game, but it was just too different. And so they spun it into its own thing.
Well, yeah, basically what happened, I think after they did Resident Evil 3, they were working on Resident Evil 4, but the original concept they threw out, and it became Devil May Cry. At least I think that's how it went. So I've seen some screenshots and a little bit of footage of what Resident Evil 4 was going to be, and the backdrops for it are very similar to what Devil May Cry became.
I'm gonna be upset if you have to, like, get the metal gate and put it over.
No, you don't.
Okay. Because I know that there's some games that forget how
Electricity
life works.
Yes. Here we have an electric fence. We need you to set up a ramp to get over it. Oh, use this metal thing.
Like, technically, with how... Unless that place is damp, those things should be catching on fire. But that's just me. Nope, not today.
Yeah, this gets infuriating.
Oh, I was just playing something recently that was doing that.
Yeah, unfortunately, this was trying to do physics puzzles before the likes of Half-Life 2 tried to perfect it. And I still got that.
You got it to work. I wonder what the actual...
And then just take the battery out.
I wonder what the actual, like, solution for that was.
I'm pretty sure what I was doing was the solution.
Yes, let's hit the door that clearly says explosives, and then be disappointed because it's a very empty room.
It's a room with a keg of gunpowder in it.
So I'm the worst person to play Viscera cleanup detail with. Tats can attest to this. And my favorite thing is to collect anything that explodes into a small area and see if I can crash the game.
Oh, some of the glitches and bugs that me and Tats have found in that are just legendary.
There's one snow map that has an enclosed, like, ice cave, and I actually almost managed to crash my game because I had shoved every bit of... There's, like, a whole bunch of barrels in that one. Shoved every single one in there, and of course I think you get the laser gun and just lit it all on fire. And my computer could not handle all the explosions happening. I can't be upset at you. I understand.
Yes, bear in mind that is a barrel of gunpowder. And I'm just throwing things at it.
I mean, gunpowder is safe until you ignite it in some way.
I can't even remember what the solution was to this. I think I just have to hit it with the pickaxe.
Okay.
Okay. Because here's the thread of logic for this. What you have to do is the cotton thread that I've got, you have to cover it in gunpowder to turn it into a fuse. You can't do that while it's in the barrel because you can't get the cotton thread in there. So you have to break the barrel to get the gunpowder out.
Okay. It's just, we'd hope that everything in here is dry, so you're having a metal possibly hit another metal. Especially if the barrel just disintegrates like that. I'm assuming that's what's happening.
Yeah. Like, there's a lot wrong with what just happened there.
Kids don't do this at home.
Believe me, if kids are watching this, you shouldn't be. Like, we've already had the goop juice being someone's semen and deep throating a banana. So, like, if you're a kid watching this, you shouldn't be. Blackendrose top tip: don't watch my channel. I think now it's a case of I can finally make progress.
At least it's nice and it's starting to get kind of lit up for you.
I think it's because... I don't know if it's because I've been lighting the lanterns or if it's just I'm getting used to it. But I just sort of reached the point of I just want to get through this bit now. Because the thing that surprised me with this, because this was to do with scary levels or scary locations in games, and it was the mine. What I didn't realise is the mine is 90% of the game.
Oh, fun. I was hoping there'd be a little more light and impact from that, but I guess I'll take what I can get.
Well, this is Penumbra. It's not known for being flashy.
How would you know that there's a tunnel in there?
Well, this is the thing I can't work out. Also, I had a pickaxe.
Yeah, but that would have taken you a while, and you had like 3 pieces of jerky. You'd probably tire yourself out before then, and you don't know when the next zombie dog thing's attacking you.
And this is me pulling up the guide again. I think the main reason I was pulling up the guide at this point was to confirm to myself when the spiders were, so that I could mentally prepare myself.
When I do a game for the channel, unless I've already previously played it, I just go in blind.
It really depends what I'm doing for the channel. Like, this one was a blind play, and the one I'm doing at the moment, which is System Shock 2, is also a blind play.
Now I say that saying that I gave up on a couple of God of War puzzles and just looked up the solution.
Oh yeah, like, if I'm doing work or recordings, like, if I'm stuck on a puzzle for more than about like 2 minutes, then I'll just consult a guide, because I don't want to spend hours upon hours doing work recording when I'm making like next to no progress.
You're like super spooked here.
I think what I'm doing here is specifically for the video. I'm trying to try and add to the spook factor.
Okay.
I think it was at this point I remembered that I was doing the recording for the channel. I was like, I need to take in the atmosphere around here to make it look spooky. Although this was the only instance that I've had with recordings where I actually had the script
beforehand. Yeah.
Because as I said at the start of this video, that this was to replace another person's recording, so the script was done and we just needed the video for it.
How it's hoped to happen is scripting and gameplay are supposed to be done like simultaneously, but finding good scriptwriters and good recorders are kind of more of a pain than it should be, and then to have them stick around.
Yeah, this was something, like, I mean, I don't want to go into too many details, but this was something I've discovered having worked with the channel for a good few months now, is just sort of seeing like some of the inner workings of what goes on. Like, it's been really illuminating, and I've loved the time here, but I've learned so much as well.
Right, yeah. It's just funny because like, they're supposed to happen simultaneously, so there was one time, I think it was for Scariest Levels. There you are with the guide again.
Yeah.
For Scariest Levels, I believe, because Resident Evil 7 had just came out at the time of recording that, I believe. So there wasn't a lot of information on it, so I had to go and break one of our rules, and I had to give like so much extra footage, so that way the scriptwriters had enough to go off of to be like, oh, okay. Because yeah, I could highlight it, but it was such a new game that they couldn't go and further research it themselves like we normally would.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the problems that I can imagine the scriptwriters have to deal with is they have to write up a lot of the stuff based on a deeper knowledge of the game. That's why I've taken to... Well, I mean, I can't really do it quite as much now because we don't use YouTube for the uploads. But what I used to do was to put details in the description of my videos to sort of give the scriptwriters a little bit more information to work with. Yep, drop them.
It just made funny noise.
Yes, that surprised me when I read that in the guide. Apparently, you have to do that.
I wouldn't have figured that out.
I know. Like, how are you supposed to know that?
Context clues.
Because there was a battery in it.
But you just disconnected the battery from somewhere else. Just take that one.
I know. And now this ladder is competing with Metal Gear Solid 3 for the biggest ladder.
There was one. I think it wasn't a ladder. I think it was a staircase in a game, and I can't remember which one specifically. But that one, like, it was so long that like they had to put in battles to like shake it up a little bit. So it wasn't just you going straight up the stairs for ages. And I was like, why? Why do you do this? There's no point.
That was the thing that threw me in. I think it was Metal Gear Solid 3, where they had the giant ladder.
The meme ladder? Yeah, I think that's from 3 also.
Yeah, and I was just sort of thinking, why was it there? Like, I'm pretty sure it was for, like, cinematic context. Just because they play music over it. But it's just like, it was excessively long.
I think, wasn't it a whole, like, 5 to 7 minutes?
Yeah.
Of just climbing the ladder?
Yeah.
Like, when it comes to, I think it was Shadow of the Colossus, where you have to play the game multiple times to be able to get to the top of the building to get to the garden. And, like, that's cool. And that would have been kind of like, I don't know, I've never played a Metal Gear Solid game. I've only just seen others play it, so I don't know the complete inner workings of it. But if, like, there's some better goal at the top of the ladder, that'd been nice.
Oh no, it was... Like, you had to do that.
Yeah, I think that was part of the story, and that's why everybody knows about it.
Yeah.
But, like...
It was... Like,
battery here.
It was plot-centered. Oh. I'm pretty sure that battery shouldn't be suspended in the air there.
If they have, like, tight enough cables, maybe it holds itself up.
Have you ever tried to pick up one of those batteries? They are freaking heavy.
That specific kind, no, but I know that a genuine, actually has fluid still in it, car battery typically is pretty hefty.
I remember when I had to move around redundant backup battery supplies for a server room. Like, those things, they're probably about the size of like a PS3, but they weigh about the same as like 10 PS3s.
That doesn't surprise me with all the fluid that's probably in it.
Well, there's no fluid in it. Well, if there is, then
oh, okay.
It's basically just a like really compressed what is it? Basically, it's just like compressed battery packs. But I don't know.
Well, like alkaline batteries and lithium batteries both have liquid in it.
And maybe it does have like a liquid medium in there somewhere, but it's just so compact that they're just really dense.
Put your hand through the gate.
There's something on the other side.
It's a box.
It's a doggy.
Oh.
Hello.
Okay, maybe don't put your hand through the gate then.
I do love the way how that dog's head just sort of turns to look at you. It's like, hello. Are you going to give me kibble?
My friend has this tiny puppy dog, and like it's not even like 6 months old or something like that. Take the fuses. Even if the box is empty, the box can be upused. But like I joke, and every time it like shakes, like any dog does, I'm like, oh, it's shaking its soul and its entire being. Like it's so cute.
It's shaking its soul and its entire being.
Cause it's like I joked with him once, and I was like, oh, you have to take a picture of it, but you have to have a banana for scale. And the banana was bigger than the dog.
Aww.
Like it was a cute little thing, and that's why anytime it shook, like, and it's like a wiener dog, so it has big floppy ears, and so it shook its head, its entire being could not stay still, and that's why I said that.
That's adorable. It reminds me of when my auntie got, this was years ago now, but they got one of their two dogs, but it was a puppy, and it fell asleep on my chest.
Aww. Meanwhile, I hate it when my cats do that, because it's suffocating, because he's fat.
Well, I mean, like, this puppy, like, you could hold it in the palm of your hand. So, I don't think that was going to compress me too much. It's kind of different when it's, like, a big-ass cat or something.
You just got Morse code in your journal. Why aren't you listening? Why aren't you decoding this? I love ciphers and stuff like that in games. Why are you not... Why... Don't walk out the door! Go back!
Now, I think there's a purpose to decoding that, but I didn't need to because I had a walkthrough.
Yeah, that's true.
And again, this was one of those things of, if I was playing this for play, then I would have sat down and done that. And I just broke my ankle.
I pre-ordered Data Bore, and so I have like the fancy boxes and stuff, and it has like runes all over it, but you look at it and you can tell that it's an actual message. And I'm just like, I'm sure somebody has already decoded all of it, but I cannot wait to sit down and try and do it myself.
That's a shame, because your name is Dakota.